Well, the other day I finished up data logging and I figured out how to send it to my email and then forward it to Chris via his email, because it was giving me a little bit of an issue sending it via the laptop. Couple hours went by and Chris got back to me and told me that it was telling him I had 0.0 volts going to my O2 sensor. Now I only rock an upstream O2 sensor along with my wideband. The wideband is like a little off of the turbine housing, which in my opinion it's given a higher reading. That's why I'm in the 15s. Me driving down the road or sitting in the vehicle and it's, you know, it's operating, it's telling me like 15.3 to 15.9, and now I know via tuning we're gonna be able to figure this out. I just gotta worry about getting this cable. I'm gonna go ahead and replace the oxygen sensor that I got. This is the Bosch. I have a Bosch wideband, so I haven't had any real issues with the Bosch. I really like how they're made, so I went ahead and I spent $40 on this one from AutoZone. As you can see, identical to the wideband, just a different plug. Alright, we just had to move her. Now I'm gonna let her cool down for a minute. Pulled out the old sensor, and this is what I got. Was a sensor with a bunch of cake on it. She's all in there. That's the slack. I just gotta go ahead and somehow make it hidden. It's not all up cluster. Cleared the codes before I started her up. Just gonna let her idle for a second. Nope, still falling on her face. Well, clearly it wasn't the O2 sensor. Maybe it's sending volts now. I don't know. I gotta go ahead and get my HP tuner plug in along with the cord that it came with and my HP Windows 11 laptop, and then hook everything up, data log, and take it for a drive.
Many unbearable hours later, the next morning.
I think I figured out the issue. My car is taken apart because last night Chris and I was talking and he asked me what my fuel pressure was. I came to start the car and popped the hood and I looked at the fuel pressure regulator and it was reading a little under 10. Under that line right there, so under 10 PSI, stating that something was wrong with my canister and fuel pump assemblies. So we checked to see why I was getting the hiccups, and pretty much it was a hydromat. I think I'm having issues now, roughly halfway through the drive home, and I'm not sure if it's my fuel pump cutting out or it's my IAC, my throttle position sensor, or even my cam sensor. My cam sensor could be cutting out. You know, the other weekend I went down, picked up my car, and me and Caesar played with this and realized this is just floating at the top, giving me a bogging issue. We took it out and put a regular filter in. Now I took my tank down and I found this. Well, I'm pulling my fuel system, my lines, and my tank, and I come up and I find this. You guys see that? That is not good. It's not even my fuel pump. It's the fuel line going to the feed. Popped off. So I'm gonna have to get some new hose, which I don't have, but I might be able to use the hose that is on the Holly. That way I can still order what I need and get this fixed now. That way I can have power back in my Neon. That hose was just a really flimsy hose, wasn't the right hose to have in there, so I cut this shorter. I gotta order more of it. You could say E85 right on there. So it's basically good to use in tank, and I was gonna swap over the 450 whatever, but I just decided to save that fuel pump, that assembly, all for another canister or later on down the road. Going through all my automotive stuff that I have, and I remember I have the DPM that I used at Chris's house. I have this adapter, it wiggles. I want to make sure that seats properly on there. Okay, so I slap that back on and pray to God I get home, because I'm gonna eventually drop the tank again. So we're just gonna let that drip right into there. The tank and everything is back up there, and the hose, I cleaned the filter, took that apart. Red Horse Performance. We got all that up there nice and clean, nice and level with the cars, bottom, chassis, and you know, I gotta put the feed it through here and keep it away from everything that's going to be hot, and put it back into the end of the fuel rail, and I should have fuel pressure again.